Today on Passion for Food, we're going to be making this delicious beef borscht. A special thanks to Andrew Toons who requested this recipe. I will put a link to his channel down in the description. So let's not beat around the bush, let's go ahead and get started. So let's go ahead and prepare our aromatics, and that's going to be a fairly classic combination of 2 large carrots, 3 stalks of celery, along with about 5 cloves of garlic. Now, not all borscht recipes contain garlic. It might not be the most traditional ingredient, but I definitely like using it. And we just want to get all of that chopped up fairly fine. We could just use a knife for this, but the speed of the food processor really can't be beat here. Once we see things banking up on the sides like that, we know we're finished. So, without missing a beat, let's prepare our beets. Now, I know some people prefer cubing up their beets, but I prefer not spending all day staining my hands red, so I'm going to be using the greater attachment of my food processor for this. And in total, we want to grate up about 3 medium beets. That's going to be about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of beets. All of this grating and chopping probably would have taken me 20 minutes by hand, but with the food processor, it's going to take me all of 60 seconds. So if you don't have one of these things, I definitely recommend you get one. So with our beets dropped, let's go ahead and get this soup started. Now, most of the beef borscht recipes I've seen involve things like beef shank and stew meat that, you're supposed to cook down and shred up, but I'm going to make things easy on myself today. I'm going to be using 80/20 ground beef. And because of the amount of fat in that, we don't want to add any additional oil to the pot. We just want to render out that natural beef fat. So we want to turn our heat to high, and I am going to go ahead and liberally salt and pepper this. And we just want to get this nicely browned. I like rendering out enough fat so that once I add our aromatics, they won't be sticking to the bottom of this pot. So once we're happy with that, we go in with our celery and carrots from earlier. And to that, we're going to add 2 sliced onions. And we're just going to give that a quick saute in our beef fat. And at this point, it's very traditional to add a couple of tablespoons of tomato paste, and we're just going to continue sauteing these vegetables until they start to soften up and we develop a little bit of a fond or a layer of flavor on the bottom of our pot, which you can kind of see here. What you want to have happen is that tomato paste will actually caramelize onto the bottom of the pot. That will add a lot of richness of flavor later on. So once we see that, we can go ahead and add 4 cups of a good quality beef broth. And you really want to scrape around with your wooden spoon. Try and dissolve all of that caramelized on goodness we have on the bottom of our pot. So you might have beat me to it, but we're going to go ahead and add in our grated beets at this point, along with half a large head of cabbage shredded up fairly fine. And we need to get everything submerged, so I'm going to add in another 4 or 5 cups of boiling water here. And we can already see that beautiful color from our beets. So we just want to give that a quick mix before going in with about 1/4 cup of dried dill. Definitely use fresh if you have it. But wait, let's not forget the secret ingredient, about a tablespoon of MSG. Now, I know people are freaked out by MSG, but come on guys, it's fine and it makes things taste amazing. Anyway, to round that out, let's dump in a couple of bay leaves. At which point we just want to cover this and we're going to simmer for approximately 30 minutes. After which you can really see those vegetables have started to render down, and that color is just amazing from our beets. So at this point, the last thing we're going to add is 2 medium potatoes. These are russet potatoes. We'll give that a quick mix, and then we are going to cover this and simmer for another 15 minutes or just until our potatoes are cooked through. So here we are after 15 minutes, and this is a good time to give this a quick taste and make sure it doesn't need to be re-seasoned. Mine actually needed a little bit more salt, so definitely check for that. But that's it. Our beef borscht is ready to serve. So let's go ahead and grab a bowl of this, and I really love that impressively beautiful color that this dish has. And it is fairly traditional to top this with a generous spoonful of sour cream along with just a little bit of dill to garnish. So let's go ahead and go in for a taste. I really love the flavor of this dish. You get a real subtle earthiness from the beets. I mean, the flavor really can't be beat. Special thanks again to Andrew Toons for the suggestion. I really hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Passion for Food. If you have, please give me a thumbs up below and consider subscribing and hitting that little bell to be notified of our future episodes. This has been Graham with Passion for Food.